I think this week every player, every team, always has to make a decision on how they want to handle success. Some teams handle success well. Some teams can only respond when something bad happens, which is a little more like human nature. And hopefully we're trying to get our players to build on the momentum that we created in what we did last week and continue to work hard so that we can continue to play well in the future. But to do that, you got to be able to handle success. You can't be casual about your approach. You got to prepare. You got to work hard. You got to go out and earn it. You got to play every play, and you got to do a little extra sometimes to, make that happen in terms of your preparation. I think it's especially important to have this kind of focus in rivalry games because I don't think records really mean that much. I think how players perform, how they prepare will affect how they perform, and I think that's really, really important. And a lot of folks, this game means a lot to it, means a lot to me, and I want our players to be ready to go and ready to play well. So right mentality is really, really important, especially this time of year. Everybody gets a little banged up, beat up, makes it a little more difficult to sustain, but we have to have the right mindset to be able to do that.
Hey, Coach, just want to see if you had an update on LeBron, Ray, and Carl Tucker, and maybe anybody else has an injury.
They're still questionable for the game.
Okay, we'll go to Aaron Suttles.
Nick, you mentioned sort of trying to read the team, how they handle success. With this particular team, what's your barometer to that? Are you looking at the whole team, the leaders on the team? How do you measure that?
I think you look at every individual player. How does every individual player find a way to sustain and grind through and have the mental toughness to be able to, continue to stay focused on preparation, study, doing the things they need to do. Some players do it well, some players don't. Older players that are more experienced maybe understand it a little better. But we need to get the critical mass of people on our team being able to do that. Everybody that has a role has to be responsible for that role, and players that are backup players have to know they're one play away from being in the role. So they have to be prepared and ready to go. So I don't really have a gauge. I don't have a meter. We look at different individuals differently, and we're trying to get the critical mass of our team to be in the right spot when it comes to the disposition they have about improving throughout the season.
Okay, we'll go to Michael Casagrande next.
Yeah, Nick, just wondered how you'd assess the punting game to this point, and just wondered about Ty Ryan's status. We saw him taking pictures from the crowd on Saturday and not in uniform.
Who?
Ty Ryan.
Yeah, he wasn't dressed for the game. I don't think the punting has been what we'd hope it would be. I think we have good competition at the position. Ty is one of those guys. So we're evaluating him on a weekly basis, and if we feel somebody else can do a better job for us, we'll certainly put them in there, but they have to earn that as well.
We'll go to James Ogletree.
Yeah, Coach. It seems like many of the mental errors that have occurred on defense came while y'all were blitzing. I was just curious, is that just a coincidence? Is there any kind of correlation there that you've seen or any reason why that may be the case?
Well, what do you mean by blitzing? Does that mean we rushed more than 4 guys, or does that mean, because a blitz to me means we played blitz coverage, and I don't think we did that one time in a game. I think that I don't think we ran very many pressures in the game, but we did make some errors on pressures that we ran, but we also were pretty effective in some of the pressures that we ran. So we need to do a better job so that we don't make those errors on third down, and that's when some of them occurred, so that we can get off the field on third down. So, but some of them came in formation adjustments. It's just, some of them came in gap fits in terms of fitting the runs correctly. So it's not any specific one thing to me. It's just a combination of consistency and performance that we got to get all 11 guys doing the right things, more consistently, and that's up to us as coaches.
Okay, a couple more. We'll start with Mike Rodak.
Jeremy Pruitt called your offensive line one of the best that he's seen in a long, long time. Just through 4 games, what have you seen out of that group, and what areas could they still improve at this point?
Well, I think they're playing well. I think if you talk to each one of them, they'll all give you something that they think that they could do better. And just like the first play of the game, when the quarterback gets hit in the back, somebody didn't do what they were supposed to do, and I'm not going to call anybody out. And quarterback gets hit and blindsided, and they get a pick. So there's always things that you can do better. Now, do I think this group has played really well? Absolutely. I think they played better every week, and I think they played really well last week, and I think they played really well the week before that. So I'm pleased with their performance, but I'm sure if you ask each and every one of them, they'd have something that they think they could do better. And we're working hard to try to help them get better because it creates value for them. The better they play, the more value it creates for them, and the better we have a chance to play as an offensive unit.
Okay, we'll finish up with a follow-up from Michael Casagrande.
Just wondering, there's been so many teams around the SEC that have had roster problems with positive tests. Just wondering if you guys had any problems with positive tests, and how does that stand at this point?
No, we've only had one positive test, I think, in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So we haven't had any issues, knock on wood, and hopefully guys will continue to manage their personal space and do the right things so that we can minimize that as much as we can.